All signs point to the Calgary Flames making their roster and lineup decisions on the fly for the whole season. After a rough start to the year and a major lack of offense, Ryan Huska has answered the tough questions posed about changing the lineup and not always icing who the fan base thinks needs to be out there. We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and we do have to talk about yesterday's game. It was obviously the home opener for the Flames, not the season opener. They headed into this game with a 1-1 record after beating the Oilers and losing to the Canucks. And the Flames, they played a pretty good game, a pretty good first two periods anyway, but they did ultimately lose to the St. Louis Blues 4-2. And it's too bad. It really, in the third period, looked like, the Flames were the team who'd played 3 games in 3.5 days, essentially, against a Blues team who had only had to play 1 game so far. And, the Flames, I guess the best way to say this, if you didn't watch the game or anything, the best way to say this is that the Flames played really well, almost for a whole 3 periods, I'd say, especially in the first 2 periods. They just couldn't finish, unfortunately, which was too bad. They had quite a few opportunities. They were honestly kind of dominating through at least the first half of this game, but ultimately taking the 4-2 loss. If we get into the box score, once again, just like with the Canucks game, Wolf's stats, they don't look good. 4 goals against on 28 shots, the .857 save percentage. Was this loss his fault? No, of course not. This year is going to be one of those years where all the people who, aren't invested in Flames hockey, maybe more casuals, have other favorite teams, they'll say, why did Wolf get this contract? Why was he even a Calder, finalist? His stats suck. And that's probably how it's going to end up being. But if you actually watch, he makes so many big saves. And he did in this game too. But unfortunately, when, the team in front of you does look tired, it does ultimately end this way. But one silver lining, Matty Coronato gets 2 goals. Obviously, the first one, once again, kind of a weird Flames goal where it didn't even look like he was trying to score. Banked it in off a guy's, family jewels, and it went in, and then obviously he got a really nice snipe in the second period as well. But Kadri, Ball, and Farabee getting the assist. Huge shout out to Morgan Frost especially, but also Farabee. So both guys from Frostby, I thought they played really well and have played really well so far this season. It would just be nice if they could finish a little bit better. But one other big thing about yesterday's game was that who was in the lineup? Zane Parekh and Sammy Honzik. Instead of guys like Jake Bean and Justin Kirkland. So that kind of leads us to how all signs point to this. And it's what I talked about in the intro of this video, but it has to do with who the Flames are going to put in the lineup night in and night out. And all signs point to, Ryan Huska kind of switching things up a lot. It won't be, the same lineup on any given game, essentially. So with a busy start to the season, the Calgary Flames are managing their roster rotation early. This is a great article, just came out today from Daniel Austin from the Calgary Herald. And the key quote from Ryan Huska is that when a guy gets an opportunity, my hope is they're going to grab hold of it and not let it go. So he is going to, kind of give the key to a roster spot to whoever really grabs that opportunity. And so far, maybe certain people haven't. But let's dive in. So 3 games into the 2025-26 season, Daniil Miramanov and Devin Cooley are the only healthy players on the Flames 23-man roster who haven't seen game time. They'll both get into the lineup soon enough, surely, but the extremely early days of the new campaign have already shown us that head coach Ryan Huska is going to be moving guys in and out as he sees necessary, as we already saw in that St. Louis game. So how the Flames manage playing time during their grueling opening stretch of the season is already a topic of conversation around Calgary hockey circles. Sitting Zane Parekh for the first 2 games of the year caused a mini social media riot, and that's true. We were all part of that here on the channel as well. Hopefully, the 19-year-old blue liner casually saying he agreed with the decision will calm that down. He did actually say, I can't remember who asked the question, but they essentially asked him, how do you feel about, do you feel like you deserve to be sat for the first 2 games? And he said, yeah, I deserve to be up there, which is interesting. Parekh, extremely mature. So how exactly are the Flames going to be managing their roster? There you go. That's the key. All signs point to this specifically. Here we go with Huska. He said, it's going to depend on how our team is playing and who we're playing on any given night, Huska explained after Saturday afternoon's 4-2 loss to the St. Louis Blues. We felt we needed more speed and size, and that's where Sam Honzik comes into play. You need more speed and size against the Blues than you do against teams like the Oilers and Canucks? Interesting. That's all I'll say to that. Let's continue. When a guy gets an opportunity, my hope is they're going to grab hold of it and not let it go. If they have an off night, we feel we have the depth to put someone in and give someone else an opportunity to grab hold of, which this philosophy, I suppose, has positives and negatives. You know, the positives are great. We have some depth. Any guy can go in and we'll get that opportunity. Fantastic. If they play great, they can stay. The negatives is, yes, people are going to have off nights. If they have an off night and then you just bench them, that's going to be terrible for their confidence. How are they going to get any better and that sort of thing? Plus, this only goes for certain players. You're not going to see, you know, a Michael Backlund, a Blake Coleman, a Nazem Kadri, guys like that get benched. So it's only for a select few people on the team. But anyway, it's possible that the Flames roster will feel a little more settled once Pospisil and Huberdeau return from the injuries that have kept them out of the first few games. Pospisil is closer to a return, but both guys are going to be on the team sheet when they're back. Is that what people want? Is that what the fan base wants? I'm not too sure. With them out, though, Huska has had to shuffle the deck. Parekh got in for his first game on Saturday and was partnered with Braden Pahal, which meant Jake Bean was shuffled to the press box. Bringing in Honzik meant that Justin Kirkland was given the night off, with Connor Zary getting bumped to the fourth-line center role and Honzik playing alongside Backlund and Coleman. And honestly, I didn't think Honzik played too bad. He had a couple great scoring opportunities. He just fits right in with everyone else. It'd be nice if we could actually finish. With a compressed schedule because of the Olympics, most teams around the NHL are going to manage their rosters carefully. The Flames are, of course, no exception. What makes it interesting is the inclusion of young players like Honzik, Parekh, and Gridden, who has appeared in all three games so far and was on the top line next to Kadri and Coronato against the Blues, so kind of in that Huberdeau spot. And that's who this kind of matters for most when it comes to the interest of the fan base. What does this roster rotation mean for guys like Honzik, Parekh, and Gridden? I'd say right now the fan base honestly cares the most about Parekh and Gridden. Parekh should almost never, I mean, he's not ever going to be demoted. It's just that he's going to be a healthy scratch certain nights. He's never not going to be with the NHL roster. I mean, knock on wood, fingers crossed, of course. Gridden's more interesting because he's kind of in there because other guys aren't. So once those guys are back, what does this mean for Gridden? Does he stay with us or not? I'm not too sure. Now, keeping Parekh out of the lineup for road games against the Oilers and Canucks made sense. But what happens Tuesday night when the Flames host the Knights at the Dome? The same questions could be asked about Honzik as well. The Flames need both guys. The schedule dictates that. Rotation is inevitable when the games are coming as fast and furious as they are this season. There is some patience, Huska said when asked about managing his young talent. There's a fine line because it's not a league where you want guys to develop in because it can cost you points from time to time. I'm not saying any of them did that tonight. They're good players, and we want them to be really great players as we move forward. I think it's our job as coaches to put these young guys in positions to succeed, and they each bring something that I feel can help our team win games. And at the end of the day, Ryan Huska knows better than any of us. He knows what to do. It's just, you know, from a fan's perspective and what I've seen online a lot is that this team, this fan base deserves exciting hockey. And, you know, the younger guys bring that excitement. The broadcasters, both on TV and the radio yesterday, were obsessed with Parekh. It made it more interesting, and fans were watching him more when he was on the ice. It's just more exciting to watch. Does it necessarily cost the team points? Huska said it didn't last night, but it could in the future, which is fair, but any player at any moment could kind of cost the team points. So overall, it's a slight conundrum. Thank goodness Huska is the one doing it, and we will see a lot of roster rotation this season, especially with our youngsters. So all signs point to this continuing for all 82 games this year. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from yesterday's video, of course, which came out before the game, before it looked like Parekh was going to be in the lineup. But Pluto FN13 here said he's in today, and he was. It was announced not too long before the game, actually not too long after I uploaded yesterday's video, of course, that Parekh would be in, and thank goodness he was. I mean, he didn't play a 10 out of 10 game, but he was honestly pretty exciting, looked good. He even hit the post, so it was quite exciting to watch him play again. Hopefully he can get in more. Will he be in on Tuesday against Vegas? I mean, my personal fingers are crossed, but I understand why he wouldn't be if he isn't. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.